Uh, appreciate you being here. So without further ado, Zondra Evans.
Okay, y'all know, and let me know when my time is up. I'll probably take 10 or 12 minutes. But
Okay.
listen, y'all know who I am. Let me give you a little bit of background and history because I think it's important that we know that how you start out might not be how you end up. Now, I'm a 40-year corporate vet. I spent 40 years of my life in corporate America. I worked for Intel for 25 years, and I worked for DaVita for 15 years. But how many of you know that God uses everything for your future? And so at the time, I didn't think that I would ever own a TV network, and it was not part of my vision board. You know how we like to put a vision board together and it ain't got nothing but umbrella drinks and white sandy beaches. You can get that on your own. A vision board should really be something that you're envisioning that is beyond your reach. And so I ended up in this place not because I wanted to, but because God told me to. And so I'm a motivational, inspirational speaker. I'm a best-selling author, as you already heard. I'm also a certified coach. And so when I got the golden handshake out of corporate America, I came out to do those things, not to be a TV network, not to be on TV. But somebody in Chicago told somebody in Atlanta that I would make a great talk show host, and they needed a talk show at 9 a.m. I had never done that in my life. So they had one Roku channel left to sell. I prayed about it and I bought it 8 years ago. And now today, that one step of faith has launched us into over 800 million homes worldwide. We are not just local or national. So here's what I want to tell y'all is that we have got to stop seizing up. Your brand really does matter. And a lot of times when we talk about brand, we think it's our logo. We think it's, our website got to be just right. Ain't nobody coming to it no how. But anyhow, your website got to be just right. You're worried about a business card, use your LinkedIn profile. We worry about the wrong things. And then we start thinking that our brand is, the way I look. It's important. All of those things are important, but your brand is you. It is what you stand for. It is what you believe in and what you're willing to put 10 toes down on. And so establishing your brand and being consistent and persistent in that brand is what really matters. So a lot of times I hear people say, I'm in the background. You can't be in the background and own no business because nobody buys a business because of how it looks on the outside. People buy a business because they have identified with you. They believe in what you have and they want to support where you're going. So brand really does matter in the whole scheme of things. Now we talk about monetizing your brand because we have been just believers of, I got to sell this product. I ain't got nothing to sell. You're selling yourself. Monetize your brand. So let me give you an example. Stop giving away all your great content on social platform. You're giving it away. Learn how to leverage social media in a different way, to give a reel to social media and drive them to a place where you can control them and truly build a following and start nurturing those people. And so I don't just believe in giving everything away. Your brand matters, and what you're speaking of has value. God placed it inside of you, and therefore, because it's in you, it's got value. And so my thing today is just know who you are. I did a speech back in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and the name of my speech was, who do the people say you are? But more importantly, who do you say you are? Because a lot of times we like to say, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. But do you really believe it? Or are you just saying it? I walk by faith. Do you? Or are you just saying it? Because if the first question out of our mouths is this question, well, how much is that? Why are we asking that when our Father, owns everything? The power of your brand is you. I wrote a book. Listen, this is so crazy because, I never even thought I'd really be an author like that or, best-selling author. I said, okay, I was sitting at my desk one day and God spoke into my spirit and said, the power of investing in you. And I was like, okay, I put it up there and I look at that every day. And then one day I said, it's time to write the book because the most valuable asset, the true resource, you, my dears, you're actually the commodity. You have to look at yourself as a commodity. It's you, right? The power of investing in the most valuable asset and resource. And if you're not willing to invest in it, why should somebody else invest in you? If we're not learning AI today, we're getting left behind. If you're not on every digital lane on the digital highway, you are slowly going out of business. Really? Yeah, that's true. Why? We just want to focus on the things that are free. Reframe your mindset and understand what you have inside of you and how to monetize that to the world. We always want people in our local neighborhood. Girl, I can walking down up and down the streets in my neighborhood. What I want is people outside of the state I live in to know who I am. I want people globally to know who I am because global right now, where we are, just from an economy standpoint, listen, money in Australia and London and the Caribbean, it spends in the US. How are you going to tap into that? Your brand really does matter. And by the way, y'all look lovely today, but your brand really, really matters. Invest differentially into this, into your brand so that you can soar. But let me tell you something else. It is critically important that you surround yourself with people that are soaring, people that are influencers, people that are doing things that you might be afraid to do. You know, I did an event last night and I heard so many people say, oh my God, I was afraid in front of the camera. But then I came to Zondra TV and I now understand the power of the camera and how to control that. Do you all understand that you have to invest in yourself so that you can do what you need to do? Now, I'm not selling you, I'm just telling you, period. I don't market nothing. I just tell people, I tell you the truth, and the truth shall set you free. If you really want to go to the next level of your journey, you have got to think about every lane on the digital highway. Now, when I talk about the digital highway, I'm talking about things like, yep, we still need Facebook, but y'all know what's getting ready to happen on June 30th. If LaChelle ain't already told you, all your live videos going away. Now what you gonna do? Right? So it's all a strategy. But yeah, we got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got LinkedIn, you got your YouTube. And by the way, let me just tell you about YouTube. You know, the big dog YouTubers, they already been identified. How many subscribers do you have? Because I'm telling you, I probably got 400. I'm not worried about my subscribers. I'm worried about how to use systems in order to drive people back to TV. Why? Because TV is a space where people that look like you and me, we're not there. This is the first time in history, listen, in history, that people like me, LaChelle, Anita, we can actually develop our own content and put it on TV. If I got a podcast, start understanding the power of repurposing your content. Own your content forever, repurpose it. So what I mean by that, if you got an audio and video podcast, you should be streaming that on TV because it can be now. It's just that simple. I always say I'm the woman version of Gary Vee without the profanity. Repurpose what you have and stop trying to go with every whim and fashion that you see coming by. That's what I do. I repurpose what I have. People still looking at my videos on TV from 8 years ago, from when I started. Why? Because there are new people coming to the network all the time and they get to see something 7 years old, but it's relevant because we teach you. We have an academy. Now, I'm not selling you, I'm telling you. We have an academy because I'm going to tell you why. The reason why we perish is because of a lack of knowledge. I'm tired of us not winning at this game. So you got to be taught. You got to be taught, and then you got to apply. So we built it on adult learning theory. So you learn a little bit, then you apply it. You learn a little bit, you apply it. At the end of the day, we teach you how to enter into this thing called streaming TV, where, by the way, it's an untapped market. If you want to be somewhere, be in an untapped market. So that's what we do, is help entrepreneurs like you to be able to get into that untapped market in a reasonable way so that you can soar in your business. I'm telling you, when you enter in the room and you stand up and do your elevator pitch and you say you're a TV producer, watch what happens when it's all over. They run into you to get your card. You want to be the change that the world needs to experience. And that's what I believe in. I don't want to be the change just, the world sees, like Gandhi talks about. I want to be the change that the world experiences. And guess what? You want to be that as well. So listen, that is it for me. If y'all got questions, I can stay on for another 10 minutes or so, 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Anything?
Well, Zondra, what, I guess, tip or maybe 3 tips that you would tell a new entrepreneur of why they really need to expand digitally and how easy it is?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I wasted 8 months of my life when I started this. I got millennial children, and they was telling me, Mommy, you need to get on social media and you need to learn how to do live videos. That was 8 years ago, y'all. And I was like, do you know who I am? My name is Zondra. I don't need that anyway. 8 months later, I was like, Jesus, if I can learn how to take this here phone, hi, this is Zondra. I had to listen. It's not an option. It's a requirement that you become one with a camera somewhere. Because I'm going to tell you why, because video accounts for 82% of the internet traffic. So I wasted time, start getting comfortable with your camera, not just holding a camera up like that, but a camera, lights, and action in a studio. Why? Because you have to be prepared that if somebody calls you up to Good Morning America, are you ready? You're going to get up there and be sweating and jerking and knowing not what to say. So you need to be trained. So train yourself now. So I think you absolutely need to understand that videos are critically important. The second thing is start owning your content and figuring out where you want to extend your brand to. Brand extension. See, I don't talk about collaboration and partnership. Those are a lot of, I just want to extend my brand to somebody that has something that I need, but I ain't got to build it, and they're doing it in excellence. So I just finished a brand extension. So you need to be thinking about that. If I'm a coach or a speaker, I don't know who you are, but whatever you do, start thinking about the lanes of people that you need to extend your brand to help lift you quicker. Because right now it's critical that we lift and scale and grow. So I believe, and it ain't because I'm on TV, y'all. Listen, I think everybody need to be on digital TV. That's just, I'm done with it. Analog TV is gone. Ain't nobody doing Comcast, and Spectrum, cable is about gone. What are you going to do? Because one of the main thoroughfares on the digital highway is TV. How many of y'all been interviewed on TV for more than 15 minutes? That's a shame. Well, yeah, because you on TV.
No, Kim is here.
Kim is here too.
Oh, okay.
Kim's cool.
Okay, but my point is, I want to change. Oh, hey. I want to change your trajectory. That if I was to come in this room 1 year later and I ask you, have you been featured on TV for more than 15 minutes telling your story? Because the glory is actually in your story that's going to make people want to work with you. I want every hand in the air. That's my goal. So I think that you all should be looking at that. What are you going to do differentially to change the outcome? Let me tell you something about being an author. How many of y'all authors in the room? Come on, raise your hand. I don't care if it's an anthology. Okay. If you're an author of a book, let me tell you what an author of a book means. You get a whole bunch of momentum at the beginning, because I'm trying to get Amazon bestseller. And so I do all this momentum and we're going up this bell curve. And then after the book launches and I get bestseller, it's about a 45-day slow down to the ground. And then you become a book peddler. And so when I wrote my book, I said, I'm not a book peddler. I don't want to be a book peddler, y'all. I want to be someone that teaches from my book. So I do that on TV. And so I have the opportunity to sell my book over and over again because I teach about that book on TV, the power of investing in you. You get what I'm saying? Go out and buy the book. So that's a way to keep your book alive, is being able to teach from your book, teach from your chapter. I don't care what you're in, an anthology or your own. Everything video is what I'm telling you need to do. All right. Did I answer that?
That was good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. She's doing some content. Does anybody else have a question? Yeah. Mhm.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So how do you overcome the fear of the camera?
Child, let me tell you, I got some tips on it. So, because I was the same way, looking all off, just, so I said, okay, who loves me the most? And I have two children. My son is 44 and my daughter is 38. And I said, they love me like no other. So I found a picture of them and I put it on my computer right where my camera was. And I would start talking to them. And I would say what I had to say because I knew that they would not judge me and that they loved me. That's how you become one with the camera. And you could do the same thing on your phone, put it up there and you're just talking to them. It just changes your trajectory. I had to do something, girl, because I was all over the place. Like, I'll be over here looking, look at the camera. Yeah.
Any other questions?
As you're getting into, like, someone being new that wants to get into the digital space and everything, what would be that first thing that person would need to do?
Schedule a discovery call with Zondra TV. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all know I had to throw something in. I love to laugh. The first thing you need to do is believe in yourself. Period. You need to believe in yourself and know that you have everything inside of you. One of the things that I believe is that we are stronger together. Now, people have been using that term since the pandemic, but I'm talking about that you really do need collaborative people to work with you and to be side by side with you and help lift you. But I think you got to really just believe in yourself and your message and believe that it's bigger than my neighborhood. You got to want to do that. I'm not saying TV is for everybody, but I think about, had I not accepted the call of my life, I would have never had international clients. We got a producer in London, we got Australia, we got the Caribbean. I wouldn't have had that had I not gotten on a global platform where people can see me. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, I have a question. When you're starting off and you're creating your content or your videos or trying to get into a digital platform, at what point is it too much? Like, is there a limit of how long you should do your videos for or your content?
Yeah, typically, and this is one of the things we teach in the academy because we want you, people have podcasts and, you just be talking on podcasts. So if it go 28 minutes, it go 44 minutes, y'all don't have no, we try to teach you to be broadcast ready. And the way to be broadcast ready is to be exactly 30-minute show or exactly 1 hour. Now, in that, we teach you how to take appropriate breaks so that you can sell commercial ads because that's your revenue stream. So we teach that, but you got to be 30 minutes to the T or 1 hour if you're doing your own content. I'm just telling you 30 minutes or 1 hour. Yeah. And then that way you can be on live TV. So you can be on demand with 16 minutes. And we don't care how long it is on demand. But if you want to be on demand and live, meaning that you come on every week, I come on every week at 9 a.m., you have to meet broadcast standards. But don't let that be a factor of not distributing your content globally. On demand is really good because each on demand episode has its own link and you can create your own QR code for it. So it don't matter. Like right now, we are talking to a woman that comes on every day. And I mean, this woman got some good messages. And so we're pitching to her, she should have a daily word on TV, on demand. And she can promote it from TV and not be, because she does them live. In a minute, that live going away and she ain't gonna have no videos. So stop your madness and get on over here on TV and we'll distribute it on demand. And then that way you own it forever and you ain't got to worry about it. I'm tired of everybody else owning us and telling us what to do and how to do it. Own your content. Your content is the most valuable asset. But I will tell y'all this, you could have content all day long, create all the content you want. But if you don't have distribution, so distribution is really queen. I'll be queen of that. I wish I was in the room. Yeah.
We feel your energy, your ears.
Oh, cool.
Anybody else have a question?
Good question. Ladies are awesome.
LaChelle, would you please invite all of these ladies to monetize your brand?
Absolutely.
And we go into more detail about monetizing your brand and what that looks like for you. So if y'all, just give them the invite to that. It's a free informational. And by the way, let me tell y'all something. Our informationals ain't, I say it's not a disguise. We're not disguising a sales call as an informational because ain't nobody trying to sell you. One of the things that God told me when I was called to this is that I was to teach the people. So I'm just teaching. That's it. I'm just teaching. You can take it. I'm being obedient to what God called me to do. And that's to teach the people about this space so that they know how they can be effective. Yeah.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you so much, Zondra, and wishing you much success and where you're at today. Thank you so much for your time. And that's it. You have anything else, Anita?
Thank you. See you soon in Texas.
Okay, see you soon. Mwah. I love y'all. Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
See you later. Have a good one.
Bye.